Politics are kind of like oatmeal cookies. Some people think they're horrible and don't belong in society, and some people can't get through a day without them. Last night, you may have noticed while you were on social networks that the president gave his annual State of the Union address. You know, the thing where the president talks about stuff and you probably missed it because of excuse. Well, today we're going to discuss the things you probably missed from it because every 37 seconds, you were probably doing this. My name is William Haynes, and you're watching SourceFED. Oh my God, a new app. For those of you who are unaware, the State of the Union address is a joint session of the United States Congress, and the president tells them all the things he did and wants to do. This is kind of like when your dad calls a house meeting and talks for an hour about all the stuff you're doing wrong and how he did it right when he was a kid. But for some reason this year, President Obama decided to be a Sass master, and regardless of your party, you have to admit it was hilarious. He winked a lot, did a lot of smiling, the huge. He kind of acted like me on every failed date I've ever been on, so all of them. And at his sassiest, the president stated,
I have no more campaigns to run. My only agenda, I know because I won both of them.
President Obama, you're treating the State of the Union address like it's live at Madison Square Garden. You ain't Chris Rock, last time I checked. He did a movie where he was president, and it wasn't you. Additionally, the most obvious physical depiction of party lines are the different faces of Vice President Biden and Speaker of the House John Boehner made during that statement. Another thing people are talking about is Ernest Moniz, who people are saying looks like a guy who managed to time travel back from 1776 just to in fact see that people are reading the Constitution all wrong. Yeah, we really meant bear arms. Turns out he's just a nuclear physicist who's currently the United States Secretary of Energy, NBD. When questioned about the unwarranted attention, he stated, they laughed at my hair, but I laughed at their screams. Also, people, can we leave John Boehner's tongue alone? You'd be surprised at things you'd be caught doing too if your face was on camera for over an hour and the main guy talking was saying everything you hated. But I gotta say, my favorite part about every State of the Union is the clear line that's set in America's politicians. When the president says one thing, half the room stands up and claps, and when he says something else, the other half stands up and claps, and the other half looks like this. It's like watching any sports event, but when one of these teams wins, it actually matters. We might even go to war. In a sporting event, somebody's car might get flipped over, and we're like, oh, why you do that? Also, this State of the Union was really important because over the past year, this administration has made decisions on new taxes on the wealthy, climate change, our diplomacy on Iran, new steps with Cuba, and where our nation is going with its fight with ISIS. President Obama stated, for far too long, lobbyists have rigged the tax code with loopholes that let some corporations pay nothing while others pay full fright. He also stated that he'd keep all options on the table to prevent a nuclear Iran, and he will veto any sanctions bill that threatens to undo this progress. That's like when you tell your friends, we ain't going to McDonald's, and they're like, yeah, we is, and you like, I'm the one driving, and they're like, dang it, I'm still gonna try though. On climate change, he stated, the Pentagon says that climate change poses immediate risks on our national security. We should act like it. As well as saying, I've heard some folks try to dodge the evidence by saying they're not scientists, that we don't have enough information to act. Well, I'm not a scientist either, but you know what? I know a lot of really good scientists at NASA and at NOAA and at our major universities. And the best scientists in the world are all telling us that our activities are changing the climate, and finally saying that we need to act forcefully to stop these things. Well, you know, as a regular dude in this country, and as I've said for every State of the Union I've paid attention to since middle school, I just hope we do the stuff we want to do and do it right. And that's really easy for me to say because I'm not the guy that has to do the actual work. I'm the guy whose job it is to make fun of you if you do it even slightly wrong. It's real weird. I hope from the next 2 years into the next decade that our politicians put aside party to work on what's right. But these days, that's like asking Tom and Jerry to not fight each other because it's just too fun. Imagine if your job was to argue with other old people all day, you'd eventually get used to it and probably look forward to it. It's like working at Hometown Buffet, but you get paid way more. So what did you think about this year's State of the Union address? In the description, we've included the whole speech written out. If you're a ready person instead of a heary person, look how President Obama looked in his first State of the Union address compared to now. William Haynes, please don't talk about me like that. Daddy?